What's up, guys? Um, Obviously no one's in here yet, but got home this afternoon from an amazing vacation. Um, really wish the Panthers would have showed up, but if you're gonna get your teeth kicked in, watching it from the suite makes it a lot better with family and good times. So that is a good thing. Good thing I brought my tripod and baseball for the big news of 3 days ago, or 4 days ago now. I don't know what day it is. But trading for Chris Sale. Again, I'll get into it deeper if and when people come in. But I think initial brush is you really like it. Obviously, the injuries and all that stuff is a major concern. But he did make 20 starts last year, and when he's been out there, he's been amazing. So, and only giving up Von Grisham, even for Chris Sale's durability issues, it feels like a light package to give up. I know Grisham still has 6 years of control, and he honestly has nothing to prove anymore necessarily with the bat. And I think if you put him at second base, he was solid there for us when Ozzy got hurt. What's up, Hudson? He was solid for us there when Ozzy got hurt. So I think it's and I mean Chris Sale cost $500,000 this year, with $10 million of the Red Sox gave us 17, and the rest is deferred $10 million over a 5-year span later. So I'll take a $500,000 gamble on a proven ace. Durability, obviously, again, I'm going to be saying that a lot, but durability issues aside, he's been really good when he was out there. When he was out there, he was in the top of baseball in K percentage and swing and miss still. And CJ Nikowski pointed out that our new TV analyst pointed out that the angles that you're going to face in the Braves rotation is something to behold, given especially how left-handed heavy the Phillies are and the Dodgers are if you're looking that far down the road. If you could get 20 to 25 starts out of Chris Sale, I think this is a big win. And let's not forget that we were able to keep Josh Donaldson healthy for 158 games in 2019, and no one else has been able to do that. His legs have otherwise been very paper-ish, so I have great trust in the Braves medical staff to make this work. And again, it's another savvy move. Obviously, every move has its own risk. Excuse me, but I don't think any of us had Chris Sale in a Braves uniform on our bingo card. I hope he really enjoys the Braves uniforms, because I don't think we need fashion malfunction or anything. But I also think he gives um, a grit and I don't know the proper grit and um, fire. Not necessarily the word I want to use, but the grit and fire, kind of like an AJ Brzezinski or a Jock Peterson, that flashy, fiery personality that I felt like maybe it was missing last year. And probably the only thing missing, and I think Chris Hill definitely provides that as well. Also, adding Chris Hill, probably you're probably still gonna see Hurston Waldrop, and um, yeah, uh, if the beginning and the end of the season, and I think the Braves will be, obviously the Braves looked at his medicals, so they're comfortable enough with the situation, or they wouldn't have pulled the trigger. Um, that's why I think 20 to 25, at max probably 27 starts, and I think that you're still going to see AJ Smith-Shawver and Hurston Waldrop play a big role, I believe, to give these guys excuse me, extra rest and um, extra extra rest, and to make sure they stay healthy throughout the year, because you still got Morton, who's turning 40. Max Fried has had his injury issues over the last couple of seasons and hasn't been healthy at the end of the year. So honestly, if we wanted to add another veteran type, I don't know who would be out there, to be honest with you. But if we wanted to add a veteran innings eater that you know is going to be there and can be dependable to make a 6-man rotation, to make sure our main guys are there, I would not be opposed to that at all. And the Von Grisham aspect of the trade, I love the kid. I will cheer for him. But I've been saying on this show for weeks that I thought it was a square peg, round hole situation for Vaughn, because, like I said, 332 batting average and a ridiculous on base streak in AAA. I know it's AAA and I know it's different, but that can't stay in AAA forever. And there was just no spot for him, and I just don't see him as a everyday shortstop. Now, if he goes in Boston and proves that, or becomes a reliable utility or a second baseman, I'm gonna be glad for him, because he was one of my favorites, and him telling Alex Anthopoulos that he could pitch just shows you how well the organization is perceived and the culture of the Atlanta Braves organization, and how much guys really love this place and love being a part of it. And am that's probably the only person I'll cheer for in Boston. Of course, when he plays the Braves, we all know he's gonna have a really good series, just because that's how it goes. But hopefully, we'll get the W, so it won't hurt as bad. But I'm glad that Von Grisham is gonna get a legit shot to prove himself, and we get something we really needed. And obviously, it's a big time gamble, but every move you make, even even if there weren't durability issues, there's risk to every move. So I'm really, really excited. And the grit and the flair that Chris Sale brings is probably really unmatched. So it's going to be fun to see him in the clubhouse. And from what I've seen and read, Chris Sale is a great teammate and a great clubhouse guy. So maybe it was just a Chicago White Sox problem, or Chris Sale. Chris Sale's just fiery, and you just got to take it as it is. And sometimes they're guys like that. So I really it was a shocking, surprising move, but I'm really, really excited. And I hope we really get to see. It's like when Felix Hernandez was supposed to be in a Braves uniform, but that never panned out because of the pandemic. But I think Alex Anthopoulos, I wouldn't say we're probably going to make any more major moves. Probably like a Kevin Pillar, or I've seen Kyle Lewis as a fourth outfielder name bantied around. I've seen Duvall bantied around, but they've also said he'll probably get like a 1 year, $8 million deal. So maybe no for virtual bench piece. I don't know that we would do that. So yeah, I think they'll just be fringe moves and depth moves from now on. But again, it's Alex Anthopoulos and anything can happen, so I have no idea. But really, really exciting. It also gives a savvy veteran that's been around the block and gone through everything you can go through. So a guy that can help AJ Smith-Shawver, Hurston Waldrop, Bryce Elder, every guy in there can benefit from what Chris Sale can bring and brings to the mound, the intensity and all of his preparation. So I really hope that the guys, the pitching staff embraces him and embraces what he brings and uses and soaks up the advice and uses it in a positive manner for them and for the game, because I think Bryce Elder is going to be huge this year, and I think adding Chris Sale just takes the pressure off a little bit, and it takes a little bit more pressure off of AJ Smith-Shawver and Hurston Waldrop as well, because we're going to see them. But if you break it down right now, it's probably Spencer Strider, Max Fried, Charlie Morton, Chris Sale, Bryce Elder. I mean, there's a lot of mileage on those guys for the Strider and Fried, fine, but injuries. But Morton's got some tread on those tires as well. So again, that's why you had to make this type of move, and it came from an unexpected source, but I'm really excited. But that's also excuse me, why I think that a veteran innings eater may be a good thing. But the also good thing about Chris Sale is he has a $20 million option for next year, and if all goes well this year, you can basically make Chris Sale your new Charlie Morton and revamp the rotation that way. And not that this is a surprise to any of us for the last few years, But it's it's likely that Max Fried will leave in free agency. Obviously, some things could change, but Ken Rosenthal said today, and it's not a surprise that it's likely that he will leave. And Max Fried, I would love to have Max Fried back. I would have preferred to have a contract done by now with Max. But he's an odd one because he's so good, but the last couple of years with injuries, forearm, ankle, and small naggy things for Max Fried, 31. He's still going to get the bag and he deserves the bag. I just don't know what kind of contract. Because Rodon 6'1", 62. So, what? Probably like 7,200. And Alex Anthopoulos has never done that for a pitcher. He's only really done 1-year deals or creative trades for getting pitchers, honestly. So I'm kind of bullish on what next year's rotation looks like, but this year's on paper, really excited. And again, I think it also clears up that Ronaldo Lopez, yes, we're going to give him a shot as a starter, maybe the 6-man rotation, again, to keep guys healthy and fresher, but it probably signals that he is going to have the Colin McHugh role of late innings, mop up, or multi innings, or the hybrid reliever, as I like to call it. I think that kind of signifies that as well with the Chris Sale move. We also, the international signing period, starts January 15th, and we are slated to sign one of the top rated infielders, Jose Perdomo. Let me make sure I got that name right. Sure. Got that name correct. Jose Perdomo is the highest international prospect to land with Atlanta since Kevin Martin. Perdomo has strong bat-to-ball skills, advanced plate discipline, and solid runner. His potential to add power if he fills out his frame is the scouting report, but the international pool has always been important to the Braves, and it's going to continue to be that way, especially how top heavy our farm system is in terms of graduations. We don't really have the plush pipeline that we had during our rebuild years. And the recent trades and all of that stuff has kind of scrapped it. So having Perdomo enter the fold is huge. We have 5.9 million, which is, I think, the third tier in money to spend, and obviously our track record post post-scandal with John Coppolella has been very, 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 very solid. And even John Coppolella, obviously Ronald Acuna Jr., Ozzie, and some other guys I'm probably unintentionally leaving out, but those are two of his big names from the international market, but that really helps. I believe the Braves are probably one more signing away from going to the second tier of the luxury tax, which isn't that big of a deal, except you go down. We would go down 10 spots in the draft, but again, we're solidly set in most every position, so it's not as dire as some other teams. So that is fine, and it just shows the want to of winning, but also the now and the future and balancing both. And I think the Braves have done a fantastic job of doing that, and being creative with the deals, and finding guys with a lot of control, or identify. This has been a theme of the offseason, identifying who's gonna be a part of that and who's not, and if the person, aka Von Grisham, aka Mike Soroka, is not, be able to trade them, give them a better opportunity, and be able to better your club in the areas that you think need bolstering, if that makes sense. But that's the direction the Braves have taken this offseason. It's like a round the world in 80 days type of way to do it. Not a Ferrari or whatever you want to classify as the Dodgers doing, which more power to them and good for them. But I think I prefer the way the Braves are doing it, and the length of the contracts for the most part is something that you can live with. And I think that's why you're not necessarily seeing the long-term contracts of the Yamamotos or any of that. So I think it's been a great offseason. It's been a weird offseason, but a very fun offseason, and I'm sure it's definitely not over. But again, I don't think they're going to be major moves. But some moves, because I think there's still once a few guys hit the 60-day pin. Angel Perdomo, the pitcher, and Ian Anderson hit the 60. I think that opens up 3 more spots, so that will allow for your fringe moves, and depth moves that are needed, and that's really, really exciting. And to know that we don't have to do a lot, and still feel really good about everything, and you can dissect everything, but we're still going to be a really good baseball team, and I can't wait for that. In fact, the MLB Power Rankings came out, and we are ranked ahead of the Dodgers, and usually that's a good thing, obviously, but it always scares me that our team is talked about as the best in baseball, because that we usually fall flat on our face. But I also think that losing to the Phillies in back-to-back years in a 5-game series has kind of maybe have lit a fire under Alex Anthopoulos because he knows this is the window. Obviously, the Dodgers have made that race definitely interesting, and it's going to be a fun baseball season. But losing it lights a fire under any of us, no matter what we're doing, but especially in sports. And the roster manipulation has been savvy and something to behold, and I'm really happy and excited in that respect. Let's see. The Arizona Diamondbacks have had one of my more favorite off seasons as I switch into other teams. They signed Tucker Barnhart, really solid veteran catcher, to a deal yesterday. Shortstop Kevin Newman to a deal today. I like Eduardo Rodriguez at 480, I think it was. I really like that. Their young players, Lourdes Gurriel coming back at a 342. I think that's solid as well. Obviously, nothing flashy necessarily, but coming off a underdog run that they did, definitely a lot of momentum, and they did sign their GM to a long-term extension, as they should, Torey Lovullo as well. So really good on them. There was another hey Matthew, the Boston Red Sox are a weird team to me. They signed Lucas Giolito to a 2-year 38, but it ended up being a 1-year something with a player option that makes it 2 years 38. And they apparently told some big free agent that they have to cut more payroll before they can pursue him. So that was weird because they sent $17 million to us for the Chris Sale deal. So I don't know how that's a salary dump, and you're assuming the 6 years of control of Vaughn Grisham. It's not necessarily expensive, but you're already sending $17 million, excuse me, to the Braves for Chris Sale. So I don't know necessarily what they're doing, and I don't know that their fans do either. So they're definitely a weird team to me. Matthew, I have your answer to your question from last time. Jared Kelnick does have one option remaining. So if he in the event he does struggle and we decide to send him down, we can. I doubt that will happen, but it is there. It is the option. The San Diego Padres have cornered the market on Korean relief pitchers. They signed, and I am going to get this wrong if I don't look it up. So, where'd it go? Uh, yeah, I mean, Sale is 34, so he's on the back end. But Giolito's coming off a year where he stunk for 3 teams. So, yeah, it's weird. The Red Sox just kind of. I do like the Tyler O'Neill move for them. I really do. I think that was nice. But I just don't necessarily know where they're going. Yeah, the next move for the Braves probably a lot of the moves for the Braves don't necessarily break the internet, even though the Chris Sale move kind of everybody was shocked. But I think it'll be a fringe fourth outfielder type of thing. Because I think you need a righty to pair with Kelnick. And I mentioned a couple of names there earlier. Kevin Pillar coming back is a possibility. Kyle Lewis is somebody I've heard. Adam Duvall is probably too expensive for a bench piece, but I don't know that Kevin Pillar necessarily liked that role at times last year, so I don't know if that fits. I don't know if a guy from our farm system would be that or not. But I feel like it's just fringe depth moves, kind of like Penn Murphy or that White Sox infielder we signed. Just really, really big depth moves. Yeah, I don't see splashy moves. Like I said at the beginning, I think that maybe a veteran innings eater starter would be nice-ish because of the durability and health issues that our guys have dealt with. And Chris Sale, you'll have to go back to the beginning for that because I broke it down there. But if you missed it, but I don't know who's out there that would be that, but because I mean I don't see us going like heavy Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell, any of that. I think Chris Sale is the move that that we get for our rotation. And like I said earlier, I think it's your basic replacement for Charlie Morton if it works out. If it doesn't, it's a $500,000 gamble, and there's risk to everything. And if it doesn't work out, then you get more experience for the younger guys. Maybe throw the feet to the fire a little too early, but we used 16 starters last year and won 104 games. Yeah, I mean, right, you do. And whatever the All-Star Break edition is, we will have 4 million excuse me, of extra cash from the Mariners in, I believe it was the Marco Gonzalez. No, maybe the Marco Gonzalez swap or one of those contract swaps. Will get an extra $4.5 million paid to us on August 1st, which is the trade deadline. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out there. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So they said that Imamura, it could land a $100 million deal. I think, I don't know much about him, but the strikeout rate is astronomical, so that's not surprising. So that's interesting. But you've got so many free agents that still haven't signed that it's kind of surprising. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so there's you're welcome. Yeah, there could be more fringe options. I've also seen Michael A. Taylor bantied around a lot as a possible bench piece that everybody seems to like, and I think we've had some some connection with him in the past. So that's also a possibility. 40 man. I can check that right now. I do know that I think three are gonna open up with what's their faces? Penn Murphy, Angel Perdomo, and Ian Anderson going on the 60. But currently, well, I mean, it's definitely an option for sure. But I don't know. Typically, in the fourth outfielder option, you want a guy that has a little more experience in later game situations. But how consistent our lineup is, we could possibly roll with Forrest Wall. And also, he has one of the coolest names ever, and is fast. So I'm good with that. That's a definite possibility given now yeah, the fourth, yeah. But if I feel like you need a right-handed bat. No. No, he didn't hit a walk-off, but it was his first in Washington, and I think it might have been a go-ahead, like really late in the season. Like it was yeah, and I think because there's a lot of question with Kelnick, and obviously these things work themselves out in spring training. Yeah. It was a late game homer. I believe it was like the 8th. It was a big homer for him and for us, I believe. It was definitely against Washington. I do know that. Let's see. One, two. Two. So 24 24 pitchers, 2 catchers, that's 26. 4 infielders plus 4, what is that? 26, 4, 30, 35 as of right now, I think, on the 40. If I did math correctly, but I could be off on that math because we just got in today from vacation. So do not trust my math, but what I have is 24 pitchers, 4 infielders, 5, and Fletcher will be added back eventually there as well. So David Fletcher, I'd assume. So 36 all told right now. So there's still four spots. And it's funny how well he's stashed right he's stashed right now. I believe off of the 40, but his contract is real money, so he will definitely be on the roster. Well, no, I realize that, but he definitely will play as of now because we don't have another utility infielder to speak of. And I think Fletcher is going to pay big dividends. Yeah, I think Fletcher is going to be on the roster. I really do. And also, you could use Fletcher as the outfielder as well if you really were in a pinch, because he's played everywhere except catcher and pitcher. No, yeah, catcher and pitcher. And I'm pretty sure he might have been in a couple of blowout games for the Angels. So he can pitch too, but you don't want that to happen. The Angels don't make a lot of sense in everything they do, so I'm not sure. But he's dealt with injuries since he signed that 5-year deal with the Angels. So that's a thing. Not on the roster, but I believe Chadwick Trump signed a minor league deal with us. He's not on the 40 right now, according to 4 days ago, but I think it's Chadwick Trump because he signed a minor league deal to come back with us. So I think and Chadwick's done yeah, he came back. Chadwick's been nice for us when we needed it. So yeah. But I was trying to think of that excuse me. Sorry, allergies and whatever. I was trying to think of that reliever that the Padres signed today to a 2-year, $4.5 million deal. I don't know who they are going to get to close, but he signed. So maybe that's how they're doing their bullpen, going through the Korean international market, which is cool and good for them. And they're also very interesting team-wise with payroll and a new manager and Mike Schilt, and maybe less ego with Juan Soto gone will help. I don't know, but they're an interesting team. That has been fringely active, but weird. But they've definitely cornered the relief market since trading Juan Soto. So, um, 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 I saw the White Sox ask the Reds for their number 2, 4, and 6th prospect. So that is why the Braves went the Chris Sale route. And I think the White Sox have severely overplayed their hand with Dylan Cease, and they're going to get a good package, but nowhere near what they could have got if they did it at the trade deadline. But that's just my opinion. I think he'll get traded eventually, but there's still so many quality guys on the free agent market, and everybody's surprised by it, but I think it's because the majority of them are Scott Boras clients. Probably because they overplayed their hands so bad that they're not going to get anything close to what they could have. And for my prediction for Chris Sale, I did it earlier, but I would be happy with 20 to 25 starts, max 27, because you want him healthy at the beginning and the end of the season. And if he's healthy, I think he's going to be good. I do, because he's been good every time he's out there when he's healthy. And don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Chris Sale tried to pitch through things the latter part of Boston that made it not work, and that made his injuries worse and things of that nature. So I think it's going to be solid, and like I've said this whole show, $500,000 risk is something that you can take, especially with the medical staff that believes in it. They wouldn't lie to Alex Anthopoulos, and like I said earlier, we were able to keep Josh Donaldson healthy for the majority of the year. So yeah, and Chris Sale, I think, will bring a fire, like I said, to our rotation, where you could have a semblance of the 90s, or even last year, when your rotation gets on a roll and as fiery and as brash as Chris Sale can be, it could light a fire on the other guys, and you could just get on a roll. And that's what I'm hoping happens. Obviously, and again, it takes pressure off the younger guys. Somebody that I'm interested to see where he fits or if he fits is Oscar Inoa and a younger guy, Owen Murphy. I don't know where those two guys are, but those two guys are probably yeah. And like the sponge conversation earlier, like you're getting different angles, you're getting different repertoires, and Max Reed and Chris Sale, they're both different angles, and that could help. And Bryce Elder and all the guys could benefit from Chris Sale, who, from all counts, from Alex Anthopoulos himself, has said that he's a has been a great clubhouse guy. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So I think he's gonna fit like a glove, and hopefully he stays healthy. We'll see what happens. But yeah, no, I have no clue what role if he plays one, but I think if he's able to play one, I think he could be a dark horse 6 starter. Because like I said multiple times, I think it would be nice to get a veteran that is going to give you a lot of that is going to be out there if you need him to. So maybe it could be that, but a younger type of veteran, I don't know. Because he was absolutely nasty when he was healthy, and wasn't dumb and punch a bench. But the frustration, it's like the pitcher version of Jared Kelnick. Oh no, I think it's more 13 to 14. I mean, honestly, because if you want to protect Chris Sale and yeah, he did have to waive his no trade, so that also tells you that he wants to be here and he wants to contribute to winning, and that's the mindset you need to have, and I'm glad to have it. I'd say we use 13 to 14. I'd say plays a role. I'd say AJ Smith-Shawver plays a role. Hurston Waldrop. Darius Vines probably gets a spot start here or there, depending on. And a lot of things could change in spring training. Ian Anderson might even play play somewhat of a role. I have no idea. In the middle months. Ronaldo Lopez could play a role, even though I spoke about him. I think he's more of the hybrid Colin McHugh role. But I'm not sure. I think, yeah, but you're right. It's gonna be double digits for sure. I'm trying to think of other guys we used last year that are still in our organization, but okay, maybe even Dylan Dodd. I don't know. Yeah, because Michael Soroka and Jared Schuster were 2, but they're traded. So, okay, yeah. But yeah, it is kind of shocking to a team that's shocking to me is the Cubs. Yeah, he did. He definitely did. And, he definitely did, and Hudson mentioned it up there that he'll probably end up getting a journeyman something and a 20th overall prospect, because if you're putting out publicly or you're allowing other teams to put out publicly what the asking price is, you're nuts. You're absolutely nuts to think that you're going to get a 2, a 4, and a 6 from any organization, especially the Reds, who are on the upswing. That is just absolutely nuts, and that is why I appreciate what Alex Anthopoulos does in his trades, because you don't hear a pin drop for most trades until they're concrete in their actuality. And most times we get a notification with the lovely blue notification from the Braves themselves, and the insiders are late on it. So I think, yeah, Chris Getz definitely overplayed. Cease, he's gonna get traded, but it's not gonna be what for what he could have gotten last trade deadline. Not anywhere close. And I know he wasn't the GM at the time, but I think he's definitely screwed up this Dylan Cease situation. I think he should have Dylan Cease should have been the first big piece traded, in my opinion. But now it's yep. Mhm. No. I don't think. I think Grisham was definitely on the table. And I think that was the comparison to the 2, 4, and 6 of the Reds. That would be our 2, 4, and 6 of the Braves. So, and you would have had to give up one, if not both, of Hurston Waldrop and AJ Smith-Shawver. So, I'm glad Alex Anthopoulos went a creative route. Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I love Vaughn Grisham. He's probably the only Red Sox I will cheer for. And I really hope he finds his footing, finds a role, because I think he deserves it. I mean, he deserves another shot. And I think that's also something I appreciate with Alex Anthopoulos, that not only does he make our club better, but the guys that he trades or gets another situation, um, gives them an opportunity to succeed. Just like Michael Soroka and Jared Schuster. They have less pressure on themselves to get back, in Michael Soroka's case, or in Jared Schuster's case, just establish himself, but being able to establish himself in a less pressure situation. And Vaughn Grisham, same thing. Boston's in a pressure or more pressure situation, but but playing second base is the probably the right place for Vaughn, and the Red Sox need something, and he has an opportunity to establish himself as an everyday player in Boston because they need it. And the respect that I feel like that Alex Anthopoulos has for the guys that he trades is kind of unmatched. Like telling Stassi right away that he's going to get traded, and telling Marco Gonzalez right away that he's going to get traded, and not leaving them necessarily in the dark. That's a very important quality, and I think the human aspect of the Braves organization when a player gets traded, like Christian Pache or Vaughn Grisham or Kyle Muller or Kyle Wright, those guys are greatly appreciative of the of the Braves organization and what we stand for, and the ability for other players to move on and to have a legit chance to establish themselves in other places is kind of unheard of in the way that everything is run. Yes, Joseph David Fletcher is likely the utility guy right now, for sure. And I don't know. Orlando Arcia is the starting shortstop, but I don't know if we go in a long-term establishing after that, because that's an interesting situation, because I think he's a free agent in 20. We just signed him to a 3-year deal beginning last year, so 2026. So the starting shortstop situation could be a thing again. I'm not sure. In typical AA fashion, he may address that now, but I doubt it. But that was just an interesting situation that I saw somebody discuss. But I'm good with Orlando right now, the way we are. But I wish he didn't do those antics against the Phillies, but that's water under the bridge. The Perdomo kid, I addressed that earlier. Really excited to be able to replenish the minor league system in the international market. We've had success doing that. And the third highest bonus pool, so that's nice. 5.9 million. But like really, there hasn't been a lot of free agent movement still, which is weird, except most of the clients are Boris clients, like I said. So maybe that is why. And the Chicago Cubs spending $8 million or whatever ridiculous contract he got, and then and they have done nothing in free agency, which is weird. So, but a lot of moving parts still to be decided. But I think the Braves have set themselves up very nicely, and it's gonna be fun to see. And that's honestly gonna be fun to see how everything else shakes out as well. Because I feel like the Blue Jays need to do something. I feel like the Cubs need to do something. I'm surprised the Astros haven't done anything really. They added Victor Caratini, which is a nice veteran get, But so but it's pretty much all of the news, I think. Any other questions or topics or whatever? I think I covered it all that I can think of. Wander Franco, that situation's gotten worse and worse. Yeah, that Japan, Japan pitcher. I talked about him, but I still can't find his name. But that Wander Franco situation's gotten worse and worse. And tomorrow, I guess, is to determine whether he'll get jail time or not. So, and whether the Rays can get out of that contract, which is a crappy situation for them. And I hate it. And Wander Franco is one of the better players, but I hope, but I hope that, but I hope they are able to get out of it because I think it's gross. Yeah, something go park go something. Yeah, don't pass go is what I'm gonna call him when I do see him. But yeah, that Wander Franco situation is gross. I did see the updated Hall of Fame. Yeah, it's nuts. And I mean, once you, I guess it's like one of those situations. Once you get into it, it's you're in deep, and it's hard to figure out. It's gross. But again, I hope the Rays can get out of it somehow, some way, because they don't deserve it. They didn't have anything to do with him making the decisions he did. So I hope they get out of it. There was another thing that just popped in my head that I can't figure out. But that's kind of annoying that I had something pop in my head. Now I can't think of it. I may do a video of my brother. I saw my brother Jonathan at I should have known that name. Woosuk Go. I didn't know. But I got a bunch of baseball cards for my brother for Christmas. We just saw each other, so I may do a video. I got some really good ones, so I may do a video, just kind of have fun with some baseball cards and show you guys some of my card collection stuff, just for fun. So that might be a thing if you would be interested. And I think that could be a cool content thing. For sure. Oh, the only other one was Frankie Montas signed a 1-year, $16 million deal with the Cincinnati Reds. And I think the Cincinnati Reds have had a solid offseason in their additions for sure. But I feel like they're not done because I feel like Jonathan India should be traded for something. I don't know exactly what, but he should be traded for something. Something substantial because they've got such a logjam in the infield with their prospects and what's already up. And they signed Jamer Candelario, so they're an interesting team to watch, and I think they've been pretty solid this offseason so far. But yeah, that's yeah. I think Von Grisham has enough defense to play second. I really do. But that's just my opinion. But also that could be a thing as well. That definitely could be a good comparison by the time everything shakes out. Yeah, right when I get off here, something's gonna happen. But don't throw a drink in a fan's face like Dave Tepper. As always, go Braves, champions forever. I will see you guys regularly scheduled unless something changes next Tuesday. Happy New Year, and wait, what? We were getting shut out 26 to, yeah. Okay. So we were getting shellacked by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Apparently, Dave Tepper in his suite was getting trash talked by a Jacksonville Jaguar fan all day long, and he didn't like it, and he tossed a drink in the fan's face, and somebody caught it on video, of course, and $300,000 fine later, and a boilerplate, not really written by Dave Tepper apology. That is the state of the Panthers right now. But I don't think a lot of people are in here when I said that if you're gonna watch a 26-0 shutout, you should do it in a suite with family, because that was awesome, and that was a awesome way to spend New Year's Eve. But not on the field, but everything else was amazing. Yeah, and Dave Tepper sucks, and I'm okay with saying that because he does. And I hope the NFL steps in and says, no, you can't own anymore, because I don't think the Panthers are going to be relevant until somebody does. I really don't. So Dave Tepper continues to make the Panthers more of an embarrassment than we already are. And and it's disgusting and it's terrible. And I love the Panthers. I really don't like Dave Tepper, and I hope somebody does something. But yeah, literally, water or whatever his drink was right in the guy's face. So, yeah. The Hornets finally won a game. Broke their 11-game streak of losses. What's up, Chris? None of us. I can't wait for spring training either. It's gonna be awesome. Broke our 11-game streak, but I swear every person that steps on the court for the Hornets gets hurt some way, somehow. So that's very annoying. Or sick some way, somehow. Not that you can do anything about either, but we broke our 11-game losing streak last night to the Sacramento Kings, so that was good. The Hurricanes look a lot better, and their power play is cooking. So they're now second in the Metro. So I got the Braves, and I got the Hurricanes doing some good things, and the Panthers are just an embarrassment, and the Hornets can't stay healthy. Yes, I'm so happy about that. So happy about the fact that we don't have to talk about Ozuna ever playing left field again, because regardless who the platoon is or whatever, I know Jared Kelnick is a solid left fielder, and whatever he does, outside of that, we don't have to talk about, or we will talk about, but defensively, I'll never have to see here Ozuna in left field. So that's always a great thing. But that's a quick synopsis of everything. Panther embarrassment wise, Hornets, Hurricanes, and the deep dive into the Braves. And obviously, if anything pops, I'll have the videos. And then next Tuesday, we can dive into whatever happens in the next week or so. And hopefully, some movement starts happening with some bigger names. And we'll talk about it, digest it, and yeah, no, anything would have been worth it for. I know anything would have been worth it for Otani, but there's no way. Um, I mean, yeah, anything would have been worth it for Otani, but for 700 million and deferring 680 million, I'm good. Plus, all the ticket prices and all that junk is something that Otani, you couldn't even afford to go kind of to the event. So it's almost a better thing that he didn't sign with us in a way, in a weird way. But yeah, you're right. We don't even have to entertain the Ozuna thing at all. So that's always a good thing, even though I'm pretty sure you're gonna always bring it up because you that's a running joke with us right now, with between you and I, with the Ozuna thing. So um so I'm not surprised. And actually, before I get off, Michael A. Taylor would be a really good fit as the platoon. Now that I'm like overthinking, or the because you need a right hander with the platoon, and I think it takes. I think Eddie Rosario signs with the Angels. Just a thought there as well. But um, as always, go Braves, champions forever. I'll see you guys next week, and we'll rehash whatever happens in the week. And if anything happens, I'll have it on my channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, helps out a lot. Thanks, guys. Awesome conversation.